A Place Called Home by Laurie Wick, Chapter 17. Christine stood in the parlor before the large family portrait that Grandma M had just asked her to hang. Twins! Why had no one ever mentioned that Mark and Luke were identical twins? Shaking her head, she wondered how many times she had asked herself that question. Yesterday had been awful. Christine could not stop thinking about how foolish she felt while meeting Luke. Christine's eyes moved intently over the portrait. The four Cameron brothers stood in the back. Suzanne, Mac, and Julia were seated in front, a child in each lap. Silas stood to the far right of the back row, sporting a beard as full as it was today. The man next to him could be none other than Paul. Dark hair, boyish good looks, and most of all his height made him a Cameron. By simple deduction, Christine guessed the man next to him to be Luke. To the far left side, Mark, his hand on Sue's shoulder, a small Emily in her lap. Judging from the changes in Emily, Calvin, and Charles, the picture was probably about 2 years old. Her eyes once again centered on the identical men in the back row, glancing quickly back and forth between the two. They were even of the same height and build. Well, possibly not. Maybe Luke's shoulders were a bit wider. Christine turned away from the picture with an angry shrug. What did she care if his shoulders were bigger? If she never saw the man again, it would be way too soon. Deciding to put it behind her, Christine walked into the dining room to dust, unaware of Grandma M standing in the doorway to the kitchen, watching the emotions play across Christine's face. Grandma M could feel Christine's frustration. Yesterday must have been terribly embarrassing for her. The look on Christine's face when Grandma M welcomed Luke home clearly stated that she had taken him for Mark. And who wouldn't? There were only a handful of people who could tell them apart. Grandma M's mind went to the conversation yesterday. They hadn't really finished talking, leaving Grandma M unsure just how Luke felt about Christine. As Grandma M continued to ponder, it occurred to her why this was so unsettling. Luke's opinion was of the utmost importance to her. If Luke felt uncomfortable with Christine or disapproved of her in some way, she wanted to know. Grandma M quickly reined in her wild thoughts. God did not put Christine in their lives simply to pluck her back out again. God would handle it. His timing would be perfect. Emily went back to work, quoting Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.